I dropped down 7 feet on the roof of a Long John Silver's. They threw out my pants separately. Today on the Manspace. Welcome to the Manspace podcast. We're your hosts, Doctors Matt Brown and Rob Porter, and clinical therapist Mike Porter. Welcome, spacemen. Today we dive deep into the nethers of Matt's brain.
Full-on Porky Pig in it in a drafty dome.
Felt real off the books. I freaking love that episode. Oh, she says, felt real off the books. One's kind of checking around the corner.
Ryan Gosling being able to barely keep it in check.
That's such a funny skit, dude. This
I'm just out there Donald Ducking it.
Porky Pigging it.
Doesn't she say Donald Ducking it in one of them?
I think later, yeah.
Maybe an episode?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's full Porky Pig in a drafty dome.
Oh my gosh, Kate McKinnon.
Shirt on, but with my pants were gone. I'm reading the transcript of it, dude. It's just so funny. Like, I had to pee like a camel, so I started peeing, and one of the gray aliens slapped the wall and pointed it at the bowl. So I got the hint. I kind of duck walked over to the bowl and peed in it. Such a or like, I don't think I was dealing with the top brass. Okay. Spacemen, we're actually going to talk about UFOs kind of today. Kind of. I don't know.
I don't know how we start a light conversation now.
I'll tell you what. After that, have you guys ever been to Roswell, New Mexico?
Yeah. No.
That place is a real disappointment.
I haven't been to like any of the sites or anything, but like I think we stopped at Walmart to get a roll of industrial paper towels when our kid was puking all over the car. And they were just, it's like alien t-shirts and all sorts of stuff everywhere.
He's really leaning into it.
Yeah, it's, I mean, yes, if somehow people didn't know that Roswell's famous for its alien, I don't know, sightings?
Or yeah, like just Area 51 and all that stuff was, yeah.
But isn't Area 51 in like the desert of Vegas? Like, or desert of Nevada?
Maybe that is Area 51.
In New Mexico.
I don't know, but Roswell has something, and honestly, I should remember because we watched it. We went to a really, really sad, poor museum there that looked like Jerry just brought his own conspiracy theory stuff and put it on the wall, and some weird videos. And so I feel like I should know. I think there was I don't remember. I have to look that up. But the other thing that people don't know that Roswell is known for is it's the origin of Allsup's gas stations.
Oh.
Which actually, when was the last time you've been to Allsup's?
Last time we drove through, like, there's some in northern Texas and New Mexico, and they are the most depressing gas stations ever.
The new ones are really freaking nice.
Well, where do you find a new one?
There's a new one in Cuba, New Mexico.
Okay.
There's actually a handful of new ones along the route.
Mm-hmm.
Through, like, if you're going up through Lubbock and then up to like Utah.
Really? When did I just drive?
They don't look new. The outside looks they keep the same crappy exterior.
Yeah.
There's even one I think in Winters, Texas, that's like, or like somewhere else. But when you go inside, it's like, oh, okay. They're if you're in Cuba, New Mexico, or
what's
Cuba.
What's the point of comparison here, though? Is this like you're comparing it to the old Allsups, or?
No, they're like nice.
Okay.
They're very clean. The bathrooms are clean. Mm-hmm. They actually, I went and tried some of their quote unquote world famous burritos, and they are okay.
Are they like bean burritos, or do they have barbecue burritos?
No, they're like a microwave burrito, but nuts.
Like you bought it, it wasn't in the deli.
Yeah. No, it was in their little deli area
Yeah.
thing. And they got JoJo's, and I even bought a pizza burrito, which was
Which is
So
like
that
a
was your
hot
problem.
pocket.
yeah, with a burrito wrapping,
Yeah.
like
So
a
you're gonna have a burrito,
chimichanga
Rob.
wrapping.
You gotta go full
I know.
burrito.
I know, but I was
No,
like,
I was gonna say, as far as gas stations go, Spaceman, if you ever have the fortune and pleasure of finding a barbecue burrito at a gas station,
where do you find those? I'm not.
so they had them all the time at the corner store by my neighborhood growing up.
Uh-huh.
And I think my brother found them at a gas station, like in an adjacent town one time, like recently. But you can order them on Amazon for like $80 a box. But
Oh, yeah.
it's just, I think it's, I don't know what kind of meat it is.
It's
Like,
probably like
barbecue.
probably just pulled pork.
It's like chopped up.
Maybe it's just crappy beef.
Yeah, it's. I remember
it's actually with
growing up, my
barbecue
friend used
sauce.
to always get them there, and I was like, kind of grossed out by the idea. I'd always get the JoJo's and maybe like a bean burrito or something. But
Yeah.
once I tried it, I was like, my
Dude.
friend, sorry.
This is part of our gas station series. I like the way that you sound like my friend. What is that
That's
from?
what I quoted from Maverick.
Yeah.
My friend.
That's right. Part of our gas station series, because I feel like we really should do. I was like, maybe I should start interviewing gas station employees to be like, hey, how long have you worked here? How many gas stations have you worked at in your life? Is this a
Yeah.
thing you do?
What's the least favorite thing you like to ring up?
And
Is
then,
it the scratch offs? Because they're mine.
well,
I
this is
hate when
what's.
people are mad.
But then I think in places like, because here in Texas we have lottery.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have it in Utah?
Yeah, every state's got their state lottery.
I thought Utah didn't for a long time.
Utah.
Well,
didn't.
maybe it does.
But I feel like, do you encounter? I don't think I've ever run into it in Utah. People doing the scratch. It happens every time I go to a gas station here.
The Powerball things, everything.
Yeah, it's like they're running them through. I don't know.
I have a friend that was in front of me at the gas station the other day, getting the Powerballs.
Oh yeah.
He goes, he scans it, and like he's like, "Man, it's the worst part of my day. Scanning this and seeing you are not a winner."
My son was he's like, I was in the gas station. This woman, she just kept winning like $3. And so she just kept buying more scratch tickets. I was like, yeah, it's an endless loop, man.
Mm-hmm.
Utah
But
does
that we
not
could do
have
a state lottery.
a state lottery, and there is one other state that does not. Any guesses
Hampshire.
on which one?
Idaho.
No, I think New Hampshire is actually, isn't that where that Jerry and Marge Go Large movie?
Oh yeah. What is it? Utah or
Hawaii.
Idaho. Oh yeah.
Hawaii.
Hmm.
Utah and Hawaii do not have any form of legalized gambling.
So you wouldn't run into that in a Utah drink store. But I do want to do a thing on food. Like I've been thinking about this because I had that pretzel wrapped bratwurst from QT that I was like, this is freaking good.
Dude, did you see that
also
QT
had
now
like a pig in
has
a blanket.
chicken?
No,
Like chicken
Like
tenders? They have a chicken
You've had me at
biscuit
tenders.
for breakfast.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
But your QTs get more because you're in the headquarters. You get more stuff.
We're cool.
Yeah. You guys have QT and
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Missouri. That's what I always think of when I think of cool.
Cool, Missouri. All right. So
All right.
we should move into the alien thing.
Zooming in.
Oh, that's a UAP. So for those of you wondering, a UAP, we don't call them UFOs anymore. We now call them unidentified anomalous phenomena.
UAPs are for weirdos.
That's a weirdo.
UFOs.
That's not a weirdo. This is something interesting that I've like I said, I've been to Roswell and I never finished the story. It's a massive disappointment.
Area 51, you're right. Area 51 is in Vegas. Well, not Vegas.
Yeah,
Nevada.
outside of Vegas, the desert outside of.
Yeah.
I don't know what Roswell is, but I'm sure we could look it up.
It's southeast corner ish.
Well, yeah, of
New Mexico.
Yeah, it's near. It's not that far. If you're going to go to Carlsbad Caverns, you might as well just pop
Yeah,
up
it's
into
pretty.
Roswell. It's like an hour and a
Mhm.
half or something like that. But it's very disappointing. So don't actually pop up. My biggest disappointment actually was that the T-shirt selection. Every shop, there was like 20 shops devoted to aliens. Every shop sold the exact same crappy, like Hanes beefy tee, crappy printed alien. Come on, I want a Roswell T-shirt. Nothing. So don't go. This episode is brought to you by Not Roswell. It is brought to you by Matt and Tom DeLong from Blink 182 being super into aliens. Matt's going to tell us what that is and how it ties into relationships.
Yeah, hang with me for a second because I'm really not here to talk about
He's not.
UAPs, but
There's some interesting stuff in it, I will say.
I was going to say, if you want to watch probably the best documentary ever done up to this point.
Ever on UAPs.
Yeah. It's called The Age of Disclosure.
Age of Disclosure.
Just came out. It's $20 to rent.
Yeah,
That's how come I didn't see it,
probably,
dude.
right? Did it just come out?
Now it's $14 to
Yeah.
buy. So you can probably rent it for a lot cheaper than I did.
I was going to say I'm super curious about it, but not
I do
$20
wanna-
curious.
Before we get into this, I do want to put a quick plug in for you guys and any listener. One of my clients recommended to me a movie that is on YouTube. It's a documentary, two brothers. It's called Listers. It's one brother gets into birding, and so the other brother's like, cool, let's do this big year thing where you go to see as many birds as you can.
Like that movie with Steve Martin and Jack Black.
Yeah. And Owen Wilson, yeah.
Listers?
Yeah, Listers. It's just fascinating to watch. He's like, dude, he's like, I was just watching while I was watching the Cowboys game, and then I just got sucked in. He's like, and I couldn't stop. They're total potheads. The dude's got this sweet mullet and this mustache. And so the whole thing started. He was like, I was high, and I was like, what if I saw every bird in that book? And like, but it's fascinating to watch and to hear a little bit how the birding community, how intense it gets, and how like we had 500 birds that we saw, but then they emailed us to say we're disqualifying this one. What you actually saw was this.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're all being such jerks about it. Like they get so mad at you, and it's like it's really intense and competitive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's a plug. Listers on YouTube. Go look it up. All right.
By
Matt,
the way, what's the name of yours again, Matt? The one that we're
Age of
actually
Disclosure?
talking about
Disclosure.
today. Age of Disclosure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike was looking up Age of Disrobing. Wrong movie.
So I'm just going to read through of all the people interviewed. This is just a sampling of their titles. So there is a retired Navy intelligence DIA senior executive, former Department of Defense official, quantum physicist, Secretary of State, astrophysicist, Air Force fighter pilot. I can't remember what NORAD stands for, but
North American Radiation Act, dude.
a bunch of
not what it
like
stands
U.S.
for.
Navy fighter pilots. There's some NASA people in here because NASA just opened up a department to research this too. Anyway, just like nothing against people who have had their own experiences with things, but nobody who's just we have no idea who they are.
It's not crackpot Jerry. Who's
Tons of people that we trust with our lives, talking about this. But essentially, I think the bottom line conclusion is like all these people are saying there's no denying that the UAPs exist, and there's like highly credible reports of like biologics being recovered and researched, right? Like all kind of behind these curtains and stuff. But the thing that really struck me about it, because I've watched several things on this, but the quantum physicist and the astrophysicist were talking about some of the sightings that the pilots were reporting, and they're describing like cubes or orbs, some vehicle inside a clear bubble and traveling at like insane speeds that we have no capability of doing with anything we know of. Like coming to a complete stop after going like however fast they were going, insanely fast. Going from like sea level to 80,000 feet in like a second, dropping down into the ocean, and just totally guys that are like, I have no idea what that was. And so the space or the bubble, the quantum physicist and the astrophysicist were saying one possibility is that whatever has created these has also mastered the technology of creating a space-time bubble around the craft that allows it to operate within the laws inside that bubble and not be affected by the laws outside of it. And got me thinking about the movie Arrival and kind of the mind-bending concept of time. I'll say this first too. I should have said this at the beginning. Like, I'm so like woefully unqualified to talk about anything that comes.
Me too.
To like physics, or I'm fascinated by like the idea of kind of like the quantum idea, right?
Yeah.
Where there's like this idea of entanglement where that's another explanation they said, where it's like this is actually something that's occurring somewhere else, but it's entangled with something here. And so we're seeing it here, but it's, all sorts of theories that I don't understand. I understand enough about to like be dumb, basically. But I think even just exposure to that idea, or like the Arrival, it's like it makes me feel really humble about my own perspective on things, and also struggle with the need for some structure and certainty in your life, but also being keenly aware that like the perspective I have and my knowledge is like so minuscule compared to probably what actually exists, and I think to tie it back into like interpersonal relationship stuff, how quick are we to double down on facts and like our own reality with no openness to like the other person's perspective or things that are beyond our understanding, like they scare us, I think. So we avoid a lot of things like that. And I think in relationships too, something that's kind of like, I can't understand you. I like find myself shutting down and like going into this really tight, kind of narrow way of understanding things. I don't know necessarily how to like tie this into our audience 100%, because it's like, it just like mind-blowing things, and kind of like the idea of awe and like being put in your place a little bit, I think is a good experience to have. Like being made to feel small, right? Being made to feel like, not like so small that I feel completely lost and terrified, but small enough to open my eyes and open my mind up to, like you were talking about a second ago, like all these birds in this book, right? They're out there, never seen them, right? And like how many of the things in our day to day do we not even tune into? And what would happen if we just kind of increased our awareness a little bit, in little ways in all areas of our lives? Like that's got to have a good impact on our relationships and our well-being and a lot of other things. So maybe we went all the way from like every time I think about the term extraterrestrials, I see that dude from Ancient Aliens who's like everything he talks about that could be explained a million other ways. And we all know that it was extraterrestrials. Like that's a level of certainty about that stuff that I find annoying, because it's like, yeah, when you just describe everything through one lens all the time. But what are your thoughts on just like, I guess, the impact of allowing yourself to feel like this is something that I have no concept of where I would fit it into my like worldview or framework? Like, what is the benefit of just being exposed to things that make you feel small, make you feel a sense of bewilderment?
It's interesting. I was thinking because I was like, oh, you took a slightly different track than I was expecting you to. Because I was thinking it just turned pivot because I was thinking about I'll come back to I'll mention this and come back to it. I was thinking about the idea of how certain we are of certain things. It's like I know it's this way. And so I've got some things that I asked Chat GPT, like, tell me some things that we knew were this way that we now know are not this way. But I'll come back to that because actually that's an interesting question to say this idea of being kind of put in your place, of realizing how maybe the humbling experience of realizing that you are wrong or how wrong you are, being small. Maybe there's a difference in those because I think you can feel small seeing how little we know without feeling like you're wrong.
Yeah.
But I think to me, I think there's two reactions to it. One is it's a little bit scary, the idea of like being told I'm wrong. Because what if I can't make it make sense in my current worldview? Like, does that mean then people will slip in it? I haven't had this experience where it feels like then I slip in this place where like, then nothing's true.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, slow down, right? You didn't know this. And it's not even saying this is true. It's just saying this is a different way of looking at this.
Right.
But the more I think the thing that sticks out more to me is the idea that it is kind of exciting because it feels like I don't like the idea that we have to exist in a space where everything is exactly this way or that way. It's right or wrong. It's because it feels like I have to then make everything fit, but it doesn't fit. Like I know it doesn't fit. We all know it doesn't fit. We all try to make everything fit in a way that's like, it has to be this way because it's the only way it would make sense to me. But then we just strain the crap out of ourselves trying to make things fit when it's like, maybe it's good to just say, hey, what if this isn't what I was thinking?
Yeah.
What if there's a whole different way of looking at this that I think actually ties really well over into relational dynamics of like, what if there's a whole different way of looking at this that I haven't considered before? But it is intimidating to consider the possibility because it means I have to have a whole new explanation. And what if it means I have to challenge myself or whatever it is?
And even just the idea of time.
Man, I freaking love that topic.
Well, and that's kind of what, because really like space and time, right? If you think about how just the time element, right? Like I can't remember the Greek gods, Kronos and the other guy. It starts with a K. It's two ways of measuring time. And we have adopted the Kronos.
The chronological.
Yeah. And there's also like, I can't remember two different
Kronos and Kronos. No,
Kronos?
Keep going.
There's two different elements on the periodical table, and I can't remember which one we selected to be like the atomic time. But if we had selected something else, our time would be totally different, the way we measure it. And I saw some documentary that was talking about like what the difference would be between the two, and it was kind of talking a bit about these things. But yeah, if you look at like everything, there's a book called Thursday's the New Friday.
Okay.
And he breaks down kind of how we came to our current concept of calendar and week and time. All to say like this is arbitrary, so just get your work done by Thursday and have Friday off. Basically, it was. But yeah, when you think of that and like how much that drives the way that we exist, how we think, how we do things, how we relate to people, the way we celebrate, anniversaries, all sorts of things. Like, I'm not saying that it's like because there's another way of doing it, we're doing it wrong. It's just acknowledging that time is a construct, and what if there are all sorts of other ways of thinking about things.
If nothing else, it may not say that because of the way we're doing it, if there's another way of doing it, we're doing it wrong, but it could mean it at least means we're not necessarily doing it the right way. We're doing it a way.
Right.
It's the same idea with any sort of like economic system or form of government. We tend to think because we live here, it's like, well, capitalism is the right way. It's like, it's a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, were you going to say something? Your mic was off.
I don't.
Well, I can hear you now. Go for it.
Well, I was going to say, I'm not sure which mic it's using. I don't think it's using the one in front of me.
Well, you sound good.
Yeah, I think it's just this mic. But so sorry, you lost me a little bit there because I was trying to figure out my mic. Like the audio kept switching in between. I like going back to Matt's original question, which is like, I'm sorry for, I don't know how much this backtracks us, but I'm going to go back to Matt's original question, which was just that idea of like, there are the sense of awe, which anytime I'm by, like we were talking about the ocean before we started recording, and that's one of those places where like it is so massive, it like the ocean kind of terrifies me. Not like I'll go hang out in the waves and I'll do that, but if I can't see land from where I'm at on the water, I'm gonna have a real problem. Because I think that it's just too like it is, and it's such a powerful thing that I think like that I could be done. And I do think there is something, right? It does kind of make you recognize your own insignificance. And then as you pointed out before, Matt, like, what did you say? It was like 80% of our oceans are unexplored.
Like the ocean floor is unmapped.
Yeah, the ocean floor. And I think that is like, that's ridiculous. Like everything we think we know, and we talk about, space and mapping more and more space. And it's like, we haven't even mapped all of our Earth yet. But then the other, that idea of
dry throat.
You can mute yourself if you need to.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Mike.
No, that idea of, like I made the effort, or I started making the effort 2 years ago. I don't know. It's been a while now, where I decided I wanted to start giving my opinion less decidedly.
Should have heard Matt today when I offered him lunch options. I was like, "Do you want to go to kebab shop?" No. I was like, "Okay." Keep going.
That's because you said it wrong. It's the kebab shop.
Kebab shop.
You got to go to the kebab shop. No, but because I started to recognize there's so much I don't know, and there's so much I'm not familiar with. And some of this I think is just the way as porters that we tend to deliver our opinion, but it comes off as very definitive, and it can be, I've discovered over the years,
very
off-putting to some people. And
I know everything. I'm this guy.
Right. And I realized that I was starting to close down. Like I was like, people stopped. Like once I gave a decided opinion about something, well, they didn't feel comfortable sharing their opinion anymore. And I started to realize that I was losing out on conversations. I was losing out on potential, new experiences, because I was so decidedly I was so certain on what I thought that I was closing down other, doors before I even had a chance to go through them. And I do, like, relationally, I think there's a 1,000 comparisons there of just recognizing, and I've started talking about this a lot with clients lately, because they'll sit and be like, well, but I know this is what they're thinking. I said, no. And I've started pushing them to reconsider the idea of right and wrong, and to start viewing it in terms of experience. This is this thing I've experienced. Your experience is different than mine. It doesn't matter if we just went through the same thing. It doesn't matter if we just watched the same movie or we're at the same, football game or whatever. Your experience was different than mine. Like, I had a bunch of friends who actually went to watch Tech and BYU play.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, yeah, like I know one guy who he thought that was like phenomenal because he's a Tech fan. most BYU fans I know thought the game sucked because
4 turnovers in a row.
Right. And so I think, yeah, like, of course, you're at the same thing, but you're experiencing it differently. And so the more that we can view things as experiencing them differently, as opposed to, well, this is exactly what happened. But that is a hard, like, going back to just concepts of time, like, there are things that our brains, I think, don't want to do. And we don't like being uncertain. Like, I've gotten over the years, I think, more comfortable with what I don't know. And so if someone's like, well, how can you explain it? I'm like, I don't need to know how to explain it. Like, I'm good not being able to explain it. It's fine for me. Like the alien thing, I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah.
Well, but Mike, can you explain it? No, I don't need to. Like, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the fact that they're there. It's fine. Can I explain it? Nope.
Yeah.
I don't understand the science. I don't understand any of it, but I'm okay with not knowing. I can keep myself open enough to say, like, that's why I'm intrigued by this documentary. Like, I'm going to watch it at some point just because it is still $15 to rent, 20 bucks to buy. So they've, knocked $5 off the price, but it's,
I gotta mute mine too.
Sorry.
Mike.
no, but it's just one of those where, yeah, like I'm intrigued by it. I want to be open to the idea of being able to learn more. And that's, I think, what a lot of times happens in relationships is we lose that desire to learn more about
This is what
our partner's experience.
Like, I think it's interesting because it's, for me, that like something bigger feels like, it's like, well, what else could I know? Like, I like the idea that there's an infinite amount of information that I could just keep being like, what else could I know?
Yeah.
And Mike, kind of what you're talking about, we've talked about this in previous episodes too. Like, I've tried really hard to say, I don't know, maybe I don't actually know about this. Because it feels like, it just feels very freeing. But also, like, if I shift this in, taking this UFO thing, UAP thing,
Get it right.
I look like a noob. Like, I did this chat GPT search, like I said, to ask, like, hey, what things did we believe solidly? And this is a book that I've considered doing for a book club. One's called But What If We're Wrong, where the idea was like, well, we used to think this and now we know better. So what things down the road will we think? Will we look back and think, I can't believe we thought that, we were such idiots?
Yeah.
So I just asked, what are some things we used to know? Like, one's the Earth is the center of the universe. Or one was, for example, bloodletting cures almost anything. Or even smoke.
That's good.
For you, cure
solid
means death.
That's good solid medicine right there, man. What are you talking about?
Or like this one came up in, there's actually two of these that came up in, I have to remember the second one that I was just thinking. They came up in the Destiny of the Republic book about Garfield being shot. That, like, the one, like, that guy could have been saved if they just would have said, hey, what if there's a different way of looking at this? And he's like, no, there's no such thing as germs floating around in the air.
Yeah.
It turns out that's what killed Garfield. Like,
Right.
So it's kind of like, just kind of an interesting, like, hey, if we would have known more, could we have done something different? That's what I think is fascinating most, to say, if I'm wrong, could this be a better situation than it is? So, like, in relationships, because one of the things it also lists off was psychology and behavior. And we've referenced this multiple times. Clients still hate when I say it. Not this exact wording, but the fallacy, I guess, that the memory works like a video recorder.
Right.
Instead of saying your memory is reconstructive and constantly shifting and distorting every time you pull it up. And so you have no idea what the actual situation was anymore. And so being open to that means, okay, if I don't remember this exactly, I do think this was still a problem. Like I could still say all I know for sure was I didn't like that situation. It felt really unpleasant to me. Can we talk about that? So your God's thing, I don't know if this is the God you were talking about, but this thing mentions 3 gods. There's Chronos, the chronological time. There's Ion, which is eternal time.
Is that A-E-O?
A-I-O-N.
Oh.
And that one's eternal time, afterlife plus the cycle of seasons. And then there's Kairos. I don't know if that's the other one you're thinking of. Kairos was the embodiment opportunist time. So like now's the time to go do something. Now's the time to plant, to harvest, to whatever. That one's much more present. Like this is the moment you're in.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what's coming before. Like now's the time to do something. And so sometimes with couples, it's like we need to have a more Kairos type. It's like, look, right now you're in this moment. You're saying, I didn't like the way that felt. Can we talk about this? Instead of getting stuck on, I know for sure there are no such things as aliens. Like, we don't actually know that.
That is interesting, though, because if you take those 3, I guess if we were somehow able to incorporate all of that into our thinking, I think that alone would change a lot.
Because all 3 types of time.
Right, because you do need to anticipate and plan for what's coming, and you do, I guess, need to recognize what has passed before you, but there's an absolute need to be present and like more intuitive time. I'm feeling right now. This needs to happen. This needs to be said.
And
whatever.
not
Like
thinking through, like, well, if I do this and this will happen, it's like I just need to do this.
Right, but then the eternal part of it, right? Like, I just finished a podcast with this lady and started her book, but I've read a couple books on like a Columbia psychiatrist, and then I can't remember what kind of doctor this guy is, but he runs the Near Death Experience Research Foundation. So he collects everybody's anybody who submits a near death experience, and he goes through this process. Like he describes it in his book, how he kind of weeds out ones that are, you can tell it's like people just trying to throw some fake story in there. Like it sounds kind of like, how would you do that? But he does a really good job of articulating the methodology. But this lady submitted hers. They went viral. She ended up writing a book, but there's like common themes with all these things where it does give you much more of a sense of, like, when I'm out of my body, like time is like, it's like kind of like Arrival. It's like this 360-degree thing that exists everywhere. And at the same time, and the best, like the closest concept I can tie to the way we view time is whatever I'm focusing on is what exists, at that time. And it's like, I think that's so mind bending for us that it's like, yeah, sure, let's stick with Chronos, right? Like, that makes more sense. And I don't think that you throw that out the window, but how do you integrate all these other sources of time and awareness that help you to have a better sense? It's weird. It's like at first it might spike anxiety, but overall, I think it actually brings it down, right? Because like if I know, take the Mayon one, right? It's like I can feel at the same time I really need to hurry because this is due at 5:00, and also in the grand scheme of things, what's 5:00, right? And what's this arbitrary thing, right? And so I can still get the thing done, but feel much more peaceful about getting it done. Yeah.
I think it's interesting too to think about the idea of being in the moment more. Like as you said, like the only things that actually exist are the things in front of me right now. Obviously, other things exist outside of me. If we didn't have that mentality, then it'd be like, well, my wife doesn't exist. This lady's looking pretty attractive. Like it doesn't matter. My wife doesn't exist. But the idea of saying, of balancing and saying, well, right now, all that's in front of me is like the tasks I have to do. The future that I imagine doesn't actually exist. Like there's so much in the future we spend time thinking about and worrying about the future and what people will think and how they'll respond and how it doesn't exist. Like, and that's what's so fascinating is like, if you can slow down to say, I don't have to worry about that because right now I know that you're upset or I'm upset. Let's talk about that. Like,
Right.
it doesn't mean that we're going to be upset forever. It doesn't mean that this is going to be like this forever. It doesn't mean that we're going to get divorced. It just means we're upset. It doesn't have to mean anything more than that. It's a very mindful type of thinking to say, well, look, right now this is the moment for something. That people, I think, would push back against it because if you look at the, if you call it opportunist time, it can almost sound selfish. Like
live
you're
for the
not,
moment.
you're not giving any consideration to the future. It's like, well, no, I mean, I can save my money for the future that I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not going to spend my life living for the future of like, well, what if this or what if this?
Yeah.
It's like, I have to enjoy the moment I'm in.
Spaceman, if any of you can invent the Aeon, Chronos, and Kairos watch, you will solve all mental health problems.
And maybe open up a vortex or a portal into another dimension.
I also think I get a lot of guys telling me this. It's like, where do guys get to like sit around and talk about like weird, deep stuff? And just like at the end of it, just say that was fun to talk about. I don't really know about most of the stuff we talked about, but it was cool to really think about it. And like, yeah,
I think it's that's why I loved Arrival so much, is because it felt like, even actually when you said the only thing that exists is what's in front of me right now, I get these moments where it feels like my brain kind of goes, oh, cool. Like there's this like opening up of like, hey, what if this?
Yeah.
Even though if I think about time being circular, or if I think about time just kind of being like it is, there is no before, it's just, it all is. I can get about 1/80th of the way into that thought before I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But it still feels like, that's kind of cool. How do I can still walk away and feel like, just to feel like, oh man, that is cool to think about something bigger than the minutia of everyday monotony that I do. Like I was thinking about how this morning I was thinking, I kind of do I wake up each day to try to accomplish a bunch of things that I can go to sleep and hurry up and accomplish a bunch of those things again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Over and over and over for 45 years. Like, what?
It's awesome. No, when you're talking about just being overwhelmed by something, I tried to watch this documentary on infinity. So I had a bunch of like mathematicians and stuff. Dude, it was so hard to keep up with, but I want to go at it again. That's one of those things that freaks a lot of people out. There's a certain time and it's just,
infinity just goes on forever.
Yeah.
There is no.
Yeah. And they were using a lot more like numerical explanations and equations and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I suck at math.
But this feels.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was more to that.
It ended.
What's it called? No.
I think it's just called Infinity.
Becky was telling me about, there's some show she was trying to watch too that was like, I think she was assigned by her physics professor, that I was like, I gotta, like, even these things they talk about relativity and gravity, that's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But I want it to, because I think, cool. Could that change the way I approach my daily life?
Yeah. I got to find my history I think it was on Netflix. Must not be called Infinity because I can't.
Today on the Manspace, we listen to Matt search Netflix history.
Oh, more results. Infinite results.
Infinity documentary. It's called The Trip to Infinity on Netflix.
Probably. Let me see. Mike.
What?
Are your thoughts?
Phil.
Yes, that's it. A Trip to Infinity.
All right. I'm going to look it up.
There is no beyond because infinity is endless.
That's true. A trip to infinity, and that's all. I guess Mike didn't have anything to say.
He's drawing infinity circles.
Maybe.
Figure eights.
Well, I guess we probably, I mean, honestly, I feel like if we wanted to, I could just kind of keep digging into some of this stuff. Like, and like it makes me really upset now that I have not already seen this documentary you're talking about.
The Infinity one or the
No, that one too, but no, the one on aliens, the Age of Disclosure.
Oh yeah,
on Prime Video. By the way,
it's on
that's
Prime.
the only place
for
yeah,
$15.
I'll make it a business expense. Hey IRS, it's right offable. I'm saying it on this podcast. Because it's the kind of thing that's like, anything that can, I think, make me think bigger rather than getting so caught up in stupid things that really don't matter.
Yeah.
Like I worked with somebody recently and they were saying, we were talking about, we're getting these family dynamics and trying to open up, like, what is your kid trying to say to you? Because there was a lot of hurt in what the kid was trying to say. And one of the parents was like, look, man, like, I get that, but like bedtime has to happen. And I was like, no, it doesn't. And he was like, what do you mean? You want me to just have no rules? It's like, no, it doesn't have to happen. Like, I mean, eventually your kid's going to fall asleep, like, and it'll probably figure itself out. But we get so caught in the minutia of like, things must run and function this way all the time that we lose this bigger picture of like, hey, if there's something bigger or something different than what I could see, for me, it's like, well, what does that do for my creativity? Does it make me feel like, hey, there's lots of options here. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to work 9 to 5 every day. What if I did what the Swedes do and I work till like?
That's what I was going to say. That is one thing that my dad has mentioned several times because he's taken a few trips to Europe, and it's like, yeah, how much exposure do we give ourselves, whether it's through travel or just watching and learning about stuff, to the different ways that other people do life?
Yeah.
And even here on planet Earth, right? It's like there's a lot of similarities. Obviously, we all sleep and we all get up and we all eat, but
sure.
But yeah, I think we can just get stuck, like you're saying, and this is the way it has to be, and this is the way we live. But yeah, how many other cultures and practices are there just for like the day, and like the necessities of the day, and what cultures really reduce the number of necessities down to actual necessities versus all the necessities we create that just create more and more stress and burnout.
Yeah, that idea of like, it's funny, like if you tell people like that you take naps during the day, sometimes people are like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it feels like, why would you not, man? Your body needs sleep. Or if it's like, I take Fridays off from work. It's like, how do you have time? How can you get all that stuff done? It's like, you don't have to do it that way.
Right.
It's just interesting. So I guess we just opened up a portal.
And I'm about to go open up a portal, so we should probably.
I don't know how I'm supposed to wrap the episode up on that.
I drink a lot of water on the drive up, and
I'm pretty sure he did just wrap up the episode.
Well, I guess then we'll fill you in, Spaceman, on what happens with Matt's portal. This will be the last episode that you will hear before Christmas and New Year's. So, Spacemen,
have a Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
Be safe.
And I guess we'll talk about that later. It'll be confusing in the sense of Chronos time for our listeners if we talk about it now.
We shouldn't. That would be too Kairos of us.
Yeah.
So then come back next time and catch us on the Manspace. My slacks landed on a freaking pine tree 30 feet away.